Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I'm DK. Well, this is DK. We'll talk about it. I'm going to do a brief video here. I'm just going to cover the RV Intel update from Wolverine on Telegram because I thought it had a lot of interesting comments in it and points in it. So I'm going to share them. Keeping in mind that I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for information purposes. But it's interesting information. So let's take a look at it. It says the great events that are forecast to occur in this month of May 2022. We're only 3 days away, folks. Most of this information comes from sources deep within the shadow economy. It relates to the restructuring of the financial system around the world. Bigger than Iraq, wouldn't you say? The restart. This will happen at the time of the event and is actually part of the operation. I might touch on that depending on the time for this video, that statement, the event, what it looks like it could be. Day 1. When the critical mass of pressure is exerted on the Federal Reserve, it will be forced to pay the debt it owes to the people due to its fraudulent operations. Since the Fed doesn't have the money to pay off that debt, it will go bankrupt. This will trigger a chain reaction of the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, and all the central banks of the world, who will also go bankrupt. Rothschilds, central banks, if you remember some of my videos. Extreme volatility in the markets will result in a worldwide stock market crash. Stock markets will close, including the New York Stock Exchange. All financial instruments, such as options and credit default swaps, will be reset to zero. All parallel accounts will be closed and reset to zero. All public cabal bank accounts will be seized. All foreclosures will be frozen, as well as all public and private debt. Mortgage, loans, credit cards. I'm sorry, the parrot hears me talking. He thinks I'm talking to him. I'm not. Days 2 to 7. The banks will be closed and there will be a lot of uncertainty and confusion. Some businesses will be temporarily closed. Some of those that remain open may accept cash. Others will only accept gold or silver coins. Credit cards will not be accepted as the system will stop working. There may be moderate problems with the timing chain. It is advisable to stock up on food and gasoline. Revaluation, RV. After about 1 week from the event, Bogey has something to say. After about 1 week from the event, there may still be minor problems in the timing chain. A new financial system will be introduced. It will be backed by Yamashita gold. That gold will be stored in locations yet to be revealed. Yamashita's gold will not be traded on the open markets. Let's pause. The basket of currencies such as the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and the Chinese yuan will form the basis of this new system. Those banks that did not have strong connections to the Federal Reserve and did not fail will reopen. That's interesting. They will not be allowed to charge interest. All your accounting will be fully transparent to the public. That sounds like a blockchain to me. The stock market will not reopen. A revaluation will be made. It means that the exchange rates between various currencies will change, but not drastically. Bigger than Iraq. They will more closely reflect the real productivity of nations. Iraqi dinar will not gain much value, contrary to many people's speculations. I will enter there. I always wonder about that when I do these budgets and trillions and things of that nature. But time will tell. Time will tell. Federal Reserve notes, euro notes, and other bills will be widely accepted until they are phased out in a few months and new money is printed. All fair trade agreements, contracts, and responsibilities throughout the world will remain valid and will be honored. Fair trade agreements, keep that in mind. Those commercial agreements that imply criminal or fraudulent interactions with the cabal will be canceled, null and void. In a few weeks, multinationals will be forced to buy back their shares, and this will effectively force them into bankruptcy. They will be broken up, and healthy portions of those companies will be nationalized in their own countries. The existence of global settlement funds will then be presented to the public. Those funds include about, and here comes a list, $70 billion from old money patriots connected to the Positive Army, $100 billion from the White Dragon Society and Templar groups, $120 billion from the Resistance Movement, $10 billion from the St. Germain Trust. The global settlement funds will also include all of the cabal's money and assets. Global settlement funds will be used for many purposes. First, all national debt, public and private, will be paid around the world. After that, all people will receive restitution for all the thefts and criminal activities against them by the ancient cabal. Prosperity funds will then be released and humanitarian, environmental, and new advanced technology projects financed. Some of the St. Germain Trust money will go directly to light workers. The rest will fund projects related to the introduction of first contact. So there you have it, folks. I'm just reading what's written there. I will say it's all a conspiracy theory until it's true. So as far out as some of it seems, I'm not going to totally discount it myself. I suggest that you not discount it yourself either, because time will tell, because time always tells. Okay, I mentioned that I wanted to share what I thought could be the narrative event. Let's check that out. Keep in mind, this is just speculation, but best predictor Donald Trump warns of nuclear war if leaders are not too smart. The Russian-Ukrainian catastrophe is in a way, already a world war, and if leaders are not smart, it will result in a nuclear battle. Former U.S. President Donald Trump says, as the best predictor of things ever. Now that is one heck of a statement, one heck of a prediction, from a person who used to be on top of the strongest nation, largest nation, most prosperous nation on the globe. No matter what you think of him, that's a powerful statement. Mr. Trump said his message for Russia's Vladimir Putin will be to tell him his actions are a shame, while spruiking a change of diplomatic tactics. Spruiking. I don't know what that means, folks. I might look it up. They're dealing with him incorrectly, and I think what they're saying, it's almost like they're speaking with fear, Mr. Trump said. Our leaders are not smart. If they're not smart, you're going to end up in a nuclear war, and this is just the beginning. We have one weapon alone that will destroy everything. Mr. Trump told Sky News Australia host Piers Morgan when he was president, and Mr. Putin spoke of potentially invading Ukraine. He said he threatened him like he has never been threatened before. He stopped short of confirming that threat involved nuclear weapons. He also spoke of his confrontation with Kim Jong-un during his tenure in office, recounting his threat about the existence of a red nuclear button on his desk. So, folks, could that be the event? I don't know that it is, but I did come across this information and I thought that it was worth checking out. Do you want to hear what the man had to say? Let's see here. 3 minutes. I'll have the link in the description and you can go and look it up. Because with all that bad news, I wanted to end this on good news, or at least funny, humorous news. So now let's move on to that. On DINAR recaps, humor while we wait. A woman's week at the gym. I'm going to read this because it made me literally laugh out loud. And having been a personal trainer before, a competitor in natural bodybuilding, I really got a kick out of reading this. So let's give it a whirl here. A woman's week at the gym. This is dedicated to everyone who ever attempted to get into a regular workout routine. Dear Diary, for my birthday this year, my husband purchased me a week of personal training at the local health club. Although I'm still in great shape since being a high school football cheerleader 43 years ago, that implies 60 years old, I decided it would be a good idea to go ahead and give it a try. I called the club and made my reservations with a personal trainer named Cristo, who who identified himself as a 26-year-old aerobics instructor and model for athletic clothing and swimwear. Friends seemed pleased with my enthusiasm to get started. The club encouraged me to keep a diary to chart my progress. Monday. Started my day at 6 a.m. Tough to get out of bed, but found it was well worth it when I arrived at the health gym to find Christo waiting for me. He is something of a Greek god, with blonde hair, dancing eyes, and a dazzling white smile. Woohoo! Christo gave me a tour and showed me the machines. I enjoyed watching the skillful way in which he conducted his aerobics class after my workout today. Very inspiring. Christo was encouraging as I did my sit-ups, although my gut was already aching from holding it in the whole time he was around. This is going to be a fantastic week. Tuesday. I drank a whole pot of coffee, but I finally made it out the door. Christo made me lie on my back and push a heavy iron bar into the air, then he puts weights on it. My legs were a little wobbly on the treadmill, but I made the full mile. His rewarding smile made it all worthwhile. I feel great. It's a whole new life for me. Wednesday. The only way I can brush my teeth is by... I understand this, y'all. I used to train. The only way I can brush my teeth is by laying the toothbrush on the counter and moving my mouth back and forth over it. I believe I had a hernia in both pectorals. Driving was okay, as long as I didn't try to steer or stop. I parked on top of a Geo in the parking lot. Christo was impatient with me, insisting that my screams bothered other club members. His voice is a little too perky for that early in the morning, and when he scolds, he gets this nasally whine that is very annoying. My chest hurt when I got on the treadmill, so Christo put me on the stair monster. Why the heck would anyone invent a machine to simulate an activity rendered obsolete by elevators? Christo told me it would help me get in shape and enjoy life. He said some other C word too. I don't know what that C is, y'all. Thursday. I'm going to assume Bullhead. Bullhead was waiting for me with his vampire-like teeth exposed. With his vampire-like teeth exposed as his thin, cruel lips were pulled back in a full snarl. I couldn't help being a half hour late. It took me that long to tie my shoes. A vampire-like teeth, huh? I thought she said up here that this guy had, how did she describe it? A dazzling white smile and dancing eyes? I'm sorry, y'all. He took me to work out with dumbbells. When he was not looking, I ran and hid in the restroom. He sent some skinny witch to find me. Then, as punishment, he put me on the rowing machine, which I sank. Friday. I hate that demon. Logie thinks it's funny too. More than any human being has ever hated any other human being in the history of the world. Stupid, skinny, anemic, anorexic little aerobic instructor. If there was a part of my body I could move without unbearable pain, I would beat him with it. Krista wanted me to work on my triceps. I don't have any triceps. And if you don't want dents in the floor, don't hand me those stupid barbells or anything that weighs more than a sandwich. The treadmill flung me off and I landed on a health and nutrition teacher. Why couldn't it have been someone softer, like the drama coach or the choir director? Saturday. Satan left a message on my answering machine in his grating, shrilly voice, wondering why I did not show up. Just hearing his voice made me want to smash the machine with my planner. However, I lacked the strength to even use the TV remote and ended up catching 11 straight hours of the Weather Channel. It's Sunday. I'm having the church van pick me up for services today so I can go and thank God that this week is over. I will also pray that next year my husband will choose a gift for me that is fun, like a root canal or a hysterectomy. I still say if God wanted me to bend over, he would have sprinkled the floor with diamonds. Folks, thank you for tolerating me. I hope you found that as funny as I did. And if you ever had any gym experiences, which I've had plenty being a trainer and having trained and competed myself, that made that extremely funny to me, as you can see, and funny to Bogey. So there's your Good news laugh after all that bad news that we had to share in the beginning. And I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.